Up at the top left, the red Protoss player from Invictus Gaming, he is Maxed. And his opponent down in the bottom right, the blue Protoss from Quantic. His name is Wongson.
And I'm curious to see, Ben, what both players are going to do. I think Maxed was pretty satisfied with how he opened in the last game, and I think I wasn't the biggest fan of how Wongson went at it with his build. I think getting a quicker robo is better, and then you should still be able to keep that base alive, even though on Belshir Vestige it's a little tricky. It's, for instance, a little harder than over here, because here you can eventually start sitting on the ramp, and then there is no high ground vision, or maybe the mothership core, but it all makes it a little harder. On Belshir, you don't have to worry about that. So it's a little harder as an offensive player, that is. So it's a little harder for the defensive Protoss to keep their Nexus alive, but you're still able to keep it alive if you do everything right. But Wongson went with the gates, but those gates did allow him to put on that counter-aggression on the right top side of the map, and that one pylon changed everything and changed the outcome of the game.
Yeah, sure did. All tied up at 1 each. Which one of these guys do you think Ghost User would rather play in the final match, Kev?
I actually think in PvZ they are a little bit similar, but if you look at the first series, I think Maxed displayed us that he's also not too afraid to go into 3 bases.
Yeah.
And I feel that he is less predictable than Wongson, because I feel Wongson, especially in PvZ, not so much in the other matchups perhaps, but in PvZ, it's not a player you play greedy against ever. And I think that Ghost User would rather play Wongson than Maxed, because Maxed looked pretty okay in my opinion in his first series. Despite Ghost User winning, I did not feel that Maxed played poorly.
Yeah. Both players will probe scout here on Echelon Wastes, and we'll see that it's normal stuff.
Gateway a little bit quicker for Maxed actually. 7 seconds, and might not seem like a big deal, but 7 seconds in PvP, man, then often something is up.
And we'll see what it translates to. As a second gate will go down for Maxed. So.
Oh man, everything on the line in just a single PvP for our second Chinese hope, Maxed. Last season, Jim and Maxed were some of the biggest stories we had in WCS America Season 2 Premier League. And right now, Ben, you know, it's still possible that in 1 hour we see Maxed advancing to the round of 16 and we can welcome him once more. But the opposite is possible as well. One crazy PvP, and certainly against a player like Wongson, I'll definitely be nervous.
Yeah. Wongson is a bit of a wild card. You never really know what to expect from him. He can surprise anybody.
Like a box of chocolates.
He is.
But I find that a really weird saying, because, you know, if I have a box of chocolates, I am expecting chocolate to be inside of the box. So why would you never know what you're going to get?
Because you don't know what's inside the chocolate.
Chocolate?
Could be a nut inside the chocolate, or a berry.
So it's not so much about the box, it's more about the chocolate.
Well, I suppose.
I think you just blew everyone's mind.
It's about what's inside the box.
Okay. Double Chronobus going down for Maxed. Once more we see Zealot into Sentry, into Expand for Wongson. How's he going to follow it up this time, Ben? Quicker Robo or more? Once more the multiple gates?
Well, I'm going to say multiple gates once more. I just feel like that's Wongson's style.
I love what Maxed is doing, by the way. He's much more worried about the probe, and he knows it's out there. Oh my god, he's barely going to miss it.
He's going to miss it.
Yep, he's not.
But he knows what's up.
He's like, I'm way ahead of the meta.
He's like, hey, get back
Picking up this probe is massive.
You killed me last game. It will not happen again.
Yep. All right.
Quicker Robo is, in fact, what Wongson does here.
1 gate Robo. I'm not sure if this is... Yeah, I think this is almost like as quick as they get.
I like the positioning on the Robo right there at the top of the ramp.
Yeah, because the moment the Immortal spawns, it's going to be right there.
He's in the fight.
Wongson has to be so careful with his Mothership Core, by the way. I'm sure that he will keep it alive and he's buying time. But the moment you lose it, Ben, you absolutely lose the game. Well, that is if... Okay, well, Maxed is going to go all out this time. He's going to go 4 gate. And I have mixed opinions about this.
Wongson's going to scout it too. Is Phoenix moving out?
You know, the moment he scouts it, he might just say, you know what, kill that Nexus. Kill it. If I sit on top of my ramp, you have nothing to break my ramp. You're not going to just walk up. I'm going to have Robo. I'm doing fine in economy. I think the moment he scouts this, you know, he might be able to keep it alive. That would be sick. And now we see Stargate as well. 4-gate Stargate?
This is this reminds me of the Roddy build, Kev.
No, mine is different.
Proxy Void Ray.
I don't do that. Not in PvP
Once
ever.
upon a time.
I mean, those Void Rays can definitely help out a lot in breaking stuff like this. Void Rays, of course, crazy DPS. Maxed is going to be containing his opponent. That's really crazy as well. This Sentry actually has another force field. Photon Overcharge should be focusing this Sentry, but that's not going to happen. So this Nexus will go down right now, and not, this is bizarre, but it's very smart by Maxed. 24 probes against 27. He's a little bit behind, but he has Stargate tech. I don't like that he's proxied right now, but he has Stargate tech against a Robo player, which, you know, normally is a good scenario for the Stargate players.
Yeah. And Hwangsin is definitely not expecting a Void Ray to show up. It's actually going to be an Oracle.
Might be just as good, but after the Oracle ban, I would say make Phoenixes. Phoenixes are really good in sniping probes. Phoenixes are really good in dealing with a Colossus push. You know, certainly if Hwangsin just wants to make one Colossus and march across the map.
Man, there's no Stalkers out on the map at all for Hwangsin.
And his units are far away from...
This Oracle could kill a ton of probes.
Yep. And you know, you cannot really blame him for not expecting a Stargate, because the last thing I would expect after all that gateway pressure is a proxy Stargate. And it's so
yeah,
random.
I don't think anybody would anticipate something like this.
But that on its own makes it brilliant. It's going to pick up these two Immortals, going to do a little bit of old school War Prism arrest with Immortals. I've said this many times, but just for the people who are just wondering right now, this used to be a very strong build, and it's still something you can do something with, but it's a lot harder to pull off these days because of the Mothership Core. Photon Overcharge kind of shuts this down, or at least buys you a lot of time. Here comes the Oracle ban. There is a Stalker in the mineral line. It's moving away right now. Oh my god, it's a magnet.
Oracle's going to focus down the Stalker.
Oh, you know.
I guess that'll work, but could have been a lot of probe kills.
But it's still a lot of lost mining time, and it's still a lot of probe kills,
yeah.
though. This is actually fantastic for Maxed.
Photon Overcharge and a Stalker being warped in. The total cost was a Stalker and 10 probes. Meanwhile, here come the Immortals of Hwangsin. They're going to be unloaded in the main base, and will he be able to
He will
deal...
actually be able to kill quite a few probes as well.
This is going to be pretty comparable. Also warping in Zealots, so...
I'm not sure how I feel about that. I think that's a waste of money. But, you know, the idea is there.
Your feelings are...
He's going to see... Maxed just saw this army moving across the map with a hallucinated Phoenix. Very important scout. Maxed, where is your Mothership Core? He definitely has one. Let me just trace it. Okay, it's over here. So he's probably not going to worry too much about this anymore. This one Colossus is scary. Photon Overcharge probably a little better. It's 2 Immortals against 2 Immortals. It's more Zealots for Maxed. But he's going to need the Photon Overcharge. The Stargate doesn't really come into play. He's supply blocked right now. That's a really big supply block. Don't fight outside of range.
That army looks kind of awkwardly placed. And we are going to have the fight unfolding right now. The Immortals right underneath the Colossus. The Zealots are on top of the Immortals, though. And that is no bueno.
Hwangsin is kind of zoning out his own army. His only hope is picking up that sentry and maybe force fielding the ramp.
Sickest plays! Oh.
Well, you know,
I mean, kinda.
But he doesn't have enough DPS anymore. Hwangsin lost too many units, and it seems like Maxed will be able to defend. And with that, get another shot and defeating Ghost to use him.
Yep, looked strong in their first meeting. He was going to have to just be a little bit stronger here.
Really cute by Hwangsin right there, saving the Colossus and also saving the Immortal. But Ben, at what cost? We can see in the unit loss resource step, Hwangsin has lost 1,200 more than his opponent. Man, that was cute by Maxed, but I don't really... Yeah. It's hard for Hwangsin. He was in a very difficult position. He's on one base. He has to make something happen right now. He's getting 2 extra gates on one base, so he's going to be 5 gate, 1 base.
He's going to go for one final bust.
You know, you might as well.
But I mean,
there's nothing really that breaks force fields in Maxed army. So unlimited amount of good force fields. But the problem is Colossus doesn't have thermal range.
There's another Oracle being made.
And that will definitely be the end of the economy for Hwangsin. So it's all going to come down to the best force fields in history. And microing your Colossus a little bit against the Immortals, because right now the Immortals have same range.
Oh man, that's even worse.
Yeah. He still has the Immortal though. Sentry takes a little bit of damage, but it's still alive. The 2 additional gates from Hwangsin did finish up right now, so he's on 5 gates.
Oh man, this is such an inevitable outcome. Oracle making its way into the main base right now. There's nothing back there to defend. And even if...
Here we go, the Mothership Core coming in for Hwangsin as well.
Hwangsin just spent all his money. He can't even warp in a Stalker.
What is he going to do? He's going to drop some Zealots in the main base.
That Oracle's just going to continue getting kills until it runs out of energy.
As well. Stalker runs away.
Oh. Clever Stalker. Lives to fight another day.
And he's also buying time, so energy will run out. Zealot's being dropped right now into the main base, but poor Hwangsin, he just, you know that almost nothing is going to work, but you still have to do something, somehow, some way. You're going to try to find a solution in making this work. And you know, Ben, force fields have done crazier things in the history of StarCraft. There is a Colossus. It doesn't have Thermalence. I love the positioning of Maxed, though. It's going to go 5 Immortals. Immortals are fantastic. Photon Overcharge being casted once more. Here we go.
Here we go indeed. The final countdown. The Force Fields and Time Warp both being cast very well. But
Immortal being picked up as well in the Warp Prism. Very cute, but there's just so much HP in this army of Maxed. All these Immortals are so strong. He still has 5 Immortals alive against a bunch of Stalkers, a Colossus, an Immortal.
You can do it, Colossus. I believe. But Hwangsen does not. GG, Maxed.